Retro gaming is more popular than ever. Classic systems like the Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and Sega Genesis are all the rage. Games from the 80s and 90s have taken over the video game landscape in a way we haven't seen since their original days of popularity. But why? There's no shortage of modern-day consoles: the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, the Nintendo Switch, and let's not forget the PC Master Race. Modern games have high-resolution graphics, pre-rendered cutscenes, soundtracks, and sound effects that rival big Hollywood movies. So why the hell are people playing these old 8-bit and 16-bit video games? One reason is nostalgia. People who grew up playing systems like the Nintendo, Sega, or Atari now have jobs with disposable income and want to recapture some of the magic they grew up with. Life was simpler then. The world was less complicated. Nowadays, we're drowning in content. There are a million movies, a million TV shows, and a million video games. We're spoiled for choice with all of our entertainment mediums. Back when first-generation gamers grew up, there simply weren't that many choices. So everything from movies to music to games had a lot more value. There's a rich history to retro video games. There are so many great classic systems with so many great games. Not everything from the history of video games is all rainbows and unicorns. I've gone back and played the Atari 2600 games I grew up with, games I loved when I was a kid. But for me, they just don't hold up anymore. While the Atari 2600 is an important part of gaming history, the graphics, the gameplay, and the audio just have not aged as well as the Nintendo or Sega. Just look at how bad Donkey Kong is on the Atari 2600. Compare that to the very presentable NES version of Donkey Kong. Retro gaming also has a bit of a counterculture element to it. There's a sort of fuck you that retro gamers say to the modern-day video gaming establishment. We don't want your expensive consoles. We don't want to play titles like Call of Duty and its countless sequels. We don't want to mindlessly frag people over and over again in some warscape environment. We're much more concerned with collecting all the coins or stars on a particular level. The availability of emulators and ROMs has had an impact on retro gaming. You can download the entire library of a classic retro system in less than 5 minutes. While playing these classic games on your computer is fine for some, I think the ability to sit on your couch and play these games on your TV is what's really helping bring back retro gaming. There's a resurgence in third-party classic gaming hardware: the Retron 5, the Super NT, the NES Classic, the Super Nintendo Classic, the Retro Pi. There are so many ways to play these great games of days gone by and play them cheaply. Retail stores like Target are now stocking retro video game merchandise. When they have the NES and Super Nintendo Classic editions locked up in a case with the Nintendo Switch and 3DS, that's saying something. YouTube has exploded with retro gaming channels. When I got into playing video games, I found a treasure trove of information and entertainment through these YouTubers, and it's what inspired me to start this channel, so that I can hopefully add to the conversation and provide content that is both entertaining and informative. If you're collecting or looking to get into collecting, there are many different ways to go about it. Some people go with what's the most affordable, as some systems like the Super Nintendo can be very expensive to collect for. Some specialize in just one system, and some collect everything and anything they can get their hands on. Some people have small collections, and some have massive collections that fill an entire room. Some collect the game, manual, and box to have the complete package. Others just collect loose cartridges. There are many ways to collect, and it's a great hobby to get into. Whether you're looking to revisit some of your favorite childhood games, or want to explore and discover the past of video games, retro gaming is full of great experiences. So if you aren't already into retro gaming, it just might be time to get into the game. That's our look at the resurgence of popularity with retro video games. Be sure to check out some of our other videos and subscribe if you like us.